I know, arrangement is always scary to start working on, right? Like, you'd much rather start a new project than arrange the current one. But what if I told you that you could escape this dreaded 8-bar loop forever? And I literally mean forever. In this video, I'll show you 2 simple habits that you can start implementing today in your workflow that will make arrangement effortless. And this isn't just another generic top 10 tips video. Today, I'm sharing the exact mindset shifts that finally made a difference for me after years of trial and error. Oh, and what does gardening have to do with all of this? Stick around to find out. Habit number 1. So, there once was a little boy named Timmy.
What you doing there, Timmy?
Oh, yeah, hey. I was just doodling around in here, just trying to make some music. I'm gonna be honest though, I'm not really feeling it, you know? I might start a new session.
And so, Timmy did start a new session. He didn't even bother saving the one from earlier.
Oh, hey, how's that new session going, Timmy?
I don't want to talk about it.
The exact same thing happened again. Timmy lost the passion for this new project halfway through making it and started yet another one. You don't want to be like Timmy. I mean, I always preach about how there's actually nothing wrong with abandoning projects if you're not really feeling it. And still, I fully stand by that. But in this scenario, you're not even giving your projects a chance to bloom. Imagine it like this. Let's say you're a gardener. When you start a new project, it's like you're planting a seed in the soil. But the thing is, at this point, you still have no idea what the seed will grow into. It could grow into a weed or the most beautiful flower. You just don't know. You have to look after it, water it, and let it grow. Only then will you find out what the heck it is that you just planted. And if it turns out to be a weed, just get rid of it. But you wouldn't get rid of a seed that you literally just planted seconds ago. Would you? I mean, if you would, it's kind of like if Sisyphus was a gardener. Just instead of rolling a boulder up a hill, he would keep watering and eradicating his own garden over and over again. When you abandon something you were in the middle of making, you're basically training yourself to do that from now on. I mean, you did it once. What's stopping you from doing it again? And why would it be any different this time around? You know the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. So yeah, overall, this is just a really bad habit to have. And I'm not saying you have to develop all your musical ideas that you had in the last year. I'm talking about all this in the context of a single session, when you're still in the flow of making music. So going forward, for all of the new projects that you'll start, go into them with this mindset of pushing through. Though, if you do that, but you don't develop this next habit, you're still going to find yourself stuck in the 8-bar loop. So pay attention. Habit number 2.
Hey, Timmy. Just checking in. How's that new project going for you?
Oh, yeah, you know, it's actually going decent. I took your advice and it did take a lot of experimentation to get the musical ideas to where I wanted them to be. But now I'm pretty happy with the result. Yeah, I'm pretty much ready to start arranging this into a full track.
Alrighty then. Nice. In that case, I'm gonna leave. I don't want to disturb you while you're in the zone. Yeah.
Nah. You can stay. Yeah, it's all right. I'm just gonna do the arrangement tomorrow.
Cardinal mistake. What you're seeing right here is a classical example of Timmy bullshitting himself and procrastinating because he's scared to do the arrangement. Yeah. I really hope you're not relating to Timmy right now, because that would be kind of awkward. Bro, literally, you need to start the arrangement process immediately after composing the main ideas. I'm talking within the same session you started the project. Because if you keep putting it off for later, well, you're gonna end up like Timmy. You will feel resistance. You won't want to do it, which is all the more reason why you should do it. In this case, it's the opposite of our first example. Here, you're training yourself to get unstuck from the 8-bar loop, even when you don't want to. And that will compound over time. I mean, you did it once, so you're more likely to do it again in the future. That is a good habit to have. I want you to stop lying to yourself and saying, oh, I'm gonna do the arrangement tomorrow, because let's be honest. Did you do it tomorrow the last time you said that to yourself? I mean, if you did, then fair enough, but most people do not. I mean, I'm speaking from my own experience here, so maybe I'm just a dumbass.
Okay, but how do I know when to start arranging?
Very good question. I have a system for diagnosing such cases, and it's called VLFO. V for vibe, when you're vibing to the track, because if you're in a good emotional state, arrangement will be much easier and much more enjoyable. L for loop, when you've had it on repeat for a while and it starts to feel loopy, because when it starts to feel loopy, it's a good idea to move to the arrangement so you don't get sick of the track. F for full, when it feels full, because it probably means you have enough elements in there to arrange the track. And lastly, O for out, when you're out of ideas on what other elements you could add. This one's pretty self-explanatory. So when at least 2 of these symptoms arise, then it's probably a good idea to start arranging. And especially if you notice 3 or even 4 of these symptoms at once. Again, you will feel resistance, but you have to push through it. Starting the arrangement is going to be the hardest part. Once you have a couple bars already laid down in there, it's gonna get much easier, trust me. You'll get into a flow and the rest will pretty much come naturally. And that flow is exactly what you're after. This flow is also the reason why you need to arrange immediately, right after composing the main ideas, because the ideas are still fresh in your head. And look, you don't have to finish the arrangement in that same session. You just have to start it and develop it a little. This way, you will get unstuck from the 8-bar loop every single time. I'm not saying you will finish every single track you start. You won't. Some of them you will hit a creative roadblock, or you're gonna start hating the project or whatever. And honestly, there is nothing wrong with that. When you realize that the seed you've planted has grown into a weed, just get rid of it and move on. Of course, when you have a bigger garden, when you're starting more projects, there is gonna be more weeds, but there's also gonna be more beautiful flowers. And actually, I just realized this metaphor goes hard. Your songs really are like flowers. Because when you keep procrastinating and putting off the task of watering them for tomorrow and then tomorrow and then tomorrow, and you end up not watering them for weeks or even months, eventually the flowers are gonna die. They're gonna die, bro. And you'll have their blood on your hands. So you better fucking water them. And so will your passion for the ideas you start. It's gonna die too. That honeymoon period, when the ideas still feel fresh and you're still in love with them, it doesn't last forever. We get sick of things over time. I mean, imagine yourself 5 years from now. You will not be the same person you are today, and I'm sure you'll have improved your music skills a lot by then. So will you want to work on your current projects from today? Probably not. I know I definitely don't want to go back to my shitty projects from 2017. So let me end with this. Work on your arrangements today, because today might be the only chance they ever get to be born. Fuck, I could have used metaphors to to abortion instead of gardening. Oh shit, maybe it's better that I didn't. I don't want to get political. And I'd have to talk about abandoning children when they're grown up. Oh, yeah, so maybe that's not the best metaphor to use. Anyways, if you do follow down this path and actually apply both of these habits in your workflow, I can guarantee you're gonna be arranging way more, you're gonna get way better at it, and you're never gonna get stuck in the 8-bar loop ever again. But there is one more rule of arrangement to keep in mind. I don't know if you've heard of it before, but it's basically the rule of contrast. And actually I made a video on that exact topic, so click here right now to watch it, and I'll see you there. Cheers.